So this isn't supposed to be a video essay or anything. This is just me talking about the Batman because I want to. Also, I'm a very new Batman fan, so keep that in mind. So I watched Batman Begins and Dark Knight about a week before I watched the Batman. So going into the movie, I knew a little bit about him, but I wasn't a fan yet, you know? But I saw it and I loved it. So here I am talking about it because I loved it so much. So the opening scene was really cool, of course. It was the introduction of Riddler, and I really liked how they introduced him. I liked how creepy he seemed, and how when he's first introduced, he's in the shadows, looking very weird and creepy. That's the point. I don't know, I just liked that scene in general. And I really like how Batman was introduced. First of all, it was at night, and it was dark, and it was raining, and the music was so cool. And I really liked how it showed different criminals around Gotham and how they were scared of Batman, that he would just pop out of nowhere at any time. Also, his monologue during that scene was awesome, and I could almost recite it at this point. I really liked how the music got louder and louder during that scene. I really liked the cinematography for the whole movie. I liked how creative it was and how interesting it was at times. Like during the chase scene, the angles were very interesting and I really liked it. I really liked the chase scene. I think that was also during the rain. I don't really remember. Oh yeah, it was. It was. But there was also fire. I also loved the music during that scene. I really liked that shot where Oz was upside down in the car, and so was the camera. And you could just see Batman walking towards him with his cape flowing in the wind, and it's raining, and his boots on the concrete. It was so cool. Another shot that I really liked was when he was leading the citizens out of the water, and he had the flare, and how everything was so dark except for him. And when I saw that shot, I was amazed. And I immediately was like, I want to see that shot again. As soon as it ended, I was like, rewind. I want to look at it. I want to stare at it. So I really liked all the characters, pretty much all the characters. I especially liked Oz. He was really cool. He's just always the best character ever. I like him in general. But in the Batman, he was really cool. He was just a fun character to see. And I just liked the way that he acted and the way that he talked and just, you know, I especially liked that scene right after the chase scene when they caught Penguin and they were interrogating him or whatever, and they had his feet and hands tied. And once they got the information they needed, they left. They just left him there. And he started chasing after them. And the way that he was walking looked like a penguin, and I loved that little detail. Most of the movie doesn't really have humor, but when it does, it's like small and subtle. They don't make a big deal out of it, which I appreciate. Bruce, of course, is an awesome character, and I love that he's very emo. I don't know, that just makes him feel a little bit more real. And I really like that it was set only 2 years into him being Batman to show how unskilled he is and how unprepared he is to be Batman. That he doesn't know what he's doing and that he messes up and he's clumsy as Batman. That one scene when he jumped off the roof and then hit a bridge, I think, and just face planted into the street. It was funny in its own way. Selena was a really good character. I really liked her story and how it fit into the main plot. And I'm glad that it wasn't just stuck in there randomly. Her storyline just made sense. I saw that people didn't really like the romance, but I understand why people didn't like it. I guess they could have had a little bit more time together to get to know each other. But I don't really mind because I like Batcat. The villain being Riddler, I think, was the perfect villain for this movie because he's a little bit more grounded, yes, weird, and it is still a little absurd. And he was just a weird dude, and Batman, a weird dude, fighting Riddler, another weird dude, I think just makes sense. I'm really glad that the villain wasn't the Joker because the Joker is just everywhere, always, and it's a little bit annoying. I like the Joker, sort of. I liked him in Dark Knight, but I don't like him when he's in every Batman story. And I think I heard that he's not gonna be the villain in the next movie, which I'm glad about. I don't know what the next villain should be. I personally want Scarecrow. I just think he's interesting. But I don't really mind what the next villain is. Anyway, the Riddler. I forgot I was talking about the Riddler. He was cool. He was a nerdy loser, as he's always meant to be. I don't think I have much to say about him, other than he was written as a weird dude really well, which is an interesting thing to say. So Riddler is my favorite Batman villain, but not because of the Batman, but because of the show Gotham. But I'm going to talk about that show in a different video because I really like that show. I really liked the vibe of the whole movie and how the vibe of it was very specific. I don't know how to describe it. You know, obviously it was very dark all the time. Obviously most of it was set at night. And the vibe at night and day, they're just different. Night just feels so different compared to day, obviously. Maybe I haven't watched enough movies or enough good movies, but this one was just so different from anything that I've seen. And it's honestly probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. I love that Batman was a symbol of fear and eventually turned into a symbol of hope. And I don't know the comics too well. I mean, I've read a few, but like not that many. So I don't know how he is in the comics, but I really like the idea of him consistently staying a symbol of fear because we don't really see that with superheroes. Usually they're all symbols of hope. But I just like the idea of a superhero that's a symbol of fear. The movie doesn't mention that he's afraid of bats, and I understand why because it's more tied to his origin, and his origin wasn't shown in the Batman. So I understand skipping past that part. But I would like it to be mentioned in the next movie. It doesn't have to be. It'd be kind of weird to mention it in the second movie. But I just like the fact that he's afraid of bats, yet he became Batman and dressed as a bat, which ties into the idea of him being a symbol of fear. A big criticism I've seen is that the movie didn't feel like Batman, which at first I didn't really understand because I wasn't that knowledgeable in Batman, but over time I kind of understand. But usually people say it like it's a bad thing, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I just see it as this is just another version of Batman and like a more modern version of him. So of course it's gonna feel different. Overall, it's a really good movie that gets a lot of love and a lot of hate, and I understand both sides, but I love it. So I have some notes, but my last bullet point doesn't make sense. I'm trying to make sense of it, but I don't know why I wrote what I wrote. Anyway, I don't really have much else to say. This was awkward because I don't know how to make videos yet. So I'm sorry if this was weird or if I talked weird or I don't know. But hopefully I can get better with time, of course. Yeah, most of my videos are just gonna be this, just me rambling about whatever I want. Yeah, I don't know how to end a video, so it's over. That's it.